Hi and welcome to the podcast. My name is Ida and this is a podcast about knitting. I am quite late with this. I'm late with the podcast because we've had sick kids forever. And that's what it feels like. Anton ran a fever on the morning of the 24th, and then it has just been sick kids from then on until Friday. It's Tuesday today. Tuesday, January 10th, I think. 9th or 10th, something around that. Somewhere around there. But anyway, on Friday, they were all, both Esther and Anton were all right. And then Sunday, Esther had a pain in her ear again, so she was sick Sunday, Monday, and then we dropped her off at school today. Anyway, I know it's crazy boring to listen to other people talking about all the sickness, but just to say, we've been very sick. I've been sick too. I've had the worst night with me being sick and the two kids being sick, and we were at my parents', so it was just me tending to Anton and Esther, who was sick, and I was throwing up. It was horrendous. It was the worst night, I would say, ever of being a parent. So, but yeah, we're feeling better. I am really happy the sun is shining. It's been gray forever, it feels like, and sun is shining. Esther is back in school, and she had a really nice drop-off, school drop-off. We were maybe a little nervous to see how that would go because she's been away for so long. Anton is napping, and I finally have time to do a podcast. So thank you for watching. If you're new or if you're returning, especially if you're returning, thank you for watching. And what else to say? Thank you to Patreon for supporting me so I can make these videos. It means a lot to me that you're still there, even though I'm changing things up a bit. So yeah, I was gonna show you a gift knit that I made for Esther, and I can't find it, so I think I'm gonna show it on the vlog, which is just only gonna be on Patreon, but I just can't find it now. But I knit her a leopard or cheetah, and if you have been following me on Vlogmas, there's a lot about that cheetah there. It's done. I gave it to her. She was very happy when she received it. She has not played with it one single time. She's not played with it at all. She's happy about it, but she hasn't played with it. And she generally plays a lot with her stuffed animals. So was it worth it? No, it was definitely not worth it knitting that stuffed toy. It just took forever. It wasn't very enjoyable. I would not do it again. If I do it again this year for Christmas, let me know that, or tell me to not do it, because last Christmas, so Christmas of 2021, I knit her a dinosaur that she has not played with at all either. She has two knitted toys that she hasn't played with, and I don't remember really enjoying doing the dinosaur either. So yeah, I'm just over that whole thing. Which is also why I could probably find it somewhere here in the mess, but I was just like, I'm so done with that leopard. I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to show it off. It turned out cute, but still not worth it at all. So if I find it, I will definitely make sure to show it on the vlog later this month. But for now, you're just gonna have to, I'm gonna try and put in some pictures of it. I don't even know if I have pictures of it sort of completed, or if I just have it in like the various states of making it. But I will definitely take some pictures as well, because I do want to put that up on Instagram. Yeah, so that's done. And once that was done, I was sort of really itching to cast on a big project for me, like a sweater. And it is just, again, sick kids and everything, I just haven't really gotten around to it. Yeah, so instead I just brought my Fibercook shawl. Like, this is the newer edition where I'm trying to make it narrower. That's hard to say. So I've been working on that. I am holding 2 strands together of a fingering weight yarn. This is my own hand-dyed yarn and yours truly. And this is superwash merino nylon. And then I have a non-superwash version here, which is called Olive You. And so I've been working a bit on this, as you may be able to tell. I have just stopped in the middle of the road because I was working on it, and I don't know why I haven't thought about this, but I was working on it and it's been fine. And then suddenly when I changed to this color, I was like, it is quite dense, isn't it? And I was like, as you can see, yeah, it is quite dense. So this is just knit and garter stitch with these eyelet rows. And then I was like, well, like what? Which needle size am I using? And I was looking at the needle size, and this is a Xiaogu 3mm needle, which is just, I don't know, like why did I use that for 2 strands of fingering weight yarn? I don't know. I could have gone up to like 4.5, and that would have been fine, and it would have been bigger and less dense. So when I found that out, I was like just a little discouraged, because I am knitting this as a sample, or at least as something that you can look at and be inspired by if you want to knit the fiber folk shawl. And now I feel like it's a bit of a waste of time, because I wouldn't really recommend people to knit this using 3mm needles. It's just too thick and too dense. It doesn't make sense. It would have been a lot nicer had I gone up at least 1 needle size. So that was just stupid, and it's very unlike me, because I would always prefer to go up a needle size than knit with needles that are too small, just because I'm a fairly slow knitter, and the bigger the needle size, the quicker the project grows. So I don't really know what happened there. I have no clue. Yeah, so that's a bit annoying. But I do love the Xiaogu. I think I'm gonna work towards at some point to like replace all of my knitting needles, and then replace them with the Xiaogu needles. I really like knitting with them. Yeah, so yeah, once I found that out, I just didn't really know what to do. And the funny thing was, I found out, and I think 2 days more later, my mom was picking it up and looking at it, and she was like, this is really dense, isn't it? Like, why are you using such big needles, like no, such small needles for this thing? And I was like, I don't know. I don't know why I did that. Yeah, so I'm just, it's just annoying. Yeah, so I don't really know what to do. I am thinking about, at this moment, I am still increasing, so it's hard to tell, but it's getting bigger and bigger here. And then not too long from now, I'm going to start decreasing it. And I'm thinking when I start doing the decreasing, so the other side of the like triangle, I guess you could say, that I would try to go up 1 needle size, just to see what the fabric looks like, and yeah, just to try it out to see. I'm sure it's going to be nicer, but it would be nice to sort of, yeah, just try it out. And this is something that I'm going to wear anyway, so it doesn't really matter to me that there's going to be a different engage from one side to the other. So I'm probably going to do that. Yeah, but that was just annoying. I had hoped that I could have this finished for Fiber Folk in March. Yeah, I was thinking about maybe I would do pom-poms on this instead of the original one has a tassel, and then maybe I would do pom-poms on this, on either end. I can still do those things. It's just not how I imagined it, I guess. So yeah, that is the Fiber Folk shawl, 2nd edition. I guess I'm gonna have to work on a 3rd edition of this if I want to get it correct, and if I'm lucky I can get that ready for Fiber Folk in August. That would be nice. So yeah, that's been what I've been working on. the shawl and that leopard. So hello from future me. It's now later in the day. I think it's, what is it? It's 3:30. It's getting dark outside, and I just remembered that I have 2 things that I finished knitting that I didn't show you. So I thought I would just show you. Anthony right here and talking about a butterfly. Sommerfugler. And we picked up Esther a couple of hours ago because she is sick again. So that lasted for half a day, but yeah, she is sleeping on the couch. So yeah, let me show you. One of the things that I finished is Anton's stocking. You can see here. And I was talking about in the last podcast whether or not to change the colors. I decided not to, just because I really I really enjoyed knitting the sock, and I sort of just wanted to have that memory in the sock. So I felted it. It's bigger than the girls, but it's fine. The pattern is from Aftenstrik. It's a Norwegian pattern. I cannot remember the name of it, but it's the only pattern that she has. And she is on her original version, there's an embroidered wreath, and it's like the first letter of the name in there. I obviously didn't do that. It also has a rib up here. I actually knitted the rib, which was a black, and I just didn't like the way it looked. So I ended up just folding that over and stitching it down, so it just has this nice clean edge. I bought this from Petite Knit, which is just quite simple, a leather strap. I'm gonna add one to the girls as well, but I'm just gonna use an old belt. Cut that over and cut that in 2, and then I have one for them. I kind of like, I like the leather strap. It has like a nice clean look to it, I think. So it's done. It has a funny shape, but you know, he's not gonna wear it. He's just gonna use it for little gifts. So, and I embroidered his name on there. Anton, I redid the A. I also did a bit of recording of this in a vlogmas, but I think maybe that's only on Patreon actually. But now you get to see it, at least it's here. Yeah, the yarn that I used is WOOLapyk. All of them are WOOLapyk. So that is done. Then I have this. He's talking so much at this moment. It's really funny. Yeah. So yeah, I have the perfect red hat. I love this color. This is my own hand-dyed yarn in a non-superwash organic DK weight merino wool in the Kapow colorway, and I just love this color so much. Perfect for me. It's the perfect red. I used the classic ripped hat from Pearl Soho, which is a free pattern. Kan du ikke nå den? Nej, jeg hjælper dig lige om lidt. Ja. Er det inde i hullet? He's at that point where I understand most of what he's saying and nobody else really does. I mean, Jakob does and the girls, but the rest of the world doesn't really know what he's saying. So yeah, it's just a ripped beanie knitted, like, what's that called? Bottom up, I think. Originally I had thought about knitting the iris hat from Sari Nordlund, but that was knitted top down and I just wasn't in a mental state to figure that out. So I just decided to knit this instead. It is nice and tight on my head, which is what I like. I like when it sort of hugs the head a bit, or when a hat does that. Yeah, so I just wanted to show you these because I did actually finish more than that leopard. It just feels like my whole December was all about that leopard. And I guess there was a little bit else in there as well. So back to the regular podcast, or yeah. Thinking about what to knit in 2023, which, by the way, Happy New Year. Yeah, like I said, it's January 10th to 9th, 10th today. So we are in 2023. I hope you had a really nice and gentle start to the new year. And yeah, like I said, I've been thinking about what I'm going to knit this year. And most likely I'm not gonna knit very much of the things I've been thinking about, but I still quite like just dreaming about it, looking at patterns and thinking about yarn that I can use for the different things. So I thought I would share them with you. Also because I still haven't decided what sweater to cast on. And I'm ready now to work on that big project. I'm done with the leopard. I don't want to work on that shawl anymore because I'm annoyed. So a big sweater would be nice. Yeah, so I've been going back and forth. I have 6 like big sweaters that I am thinking about knitting. Number 1 is the Wednesday sweater by Petite Knit. And it's a sweater that I knit when I was pregnant with Anton, that I loved wearing. I wore a ton, and Jakob ended up felting in the machine. Yeah, you patrons have watched that whole saga. And I really have been missing it this year, or this winter. So I am thinking about knitting another one. I just find it a bit boring, to be honest, because I have already knit it. And I generally don't knit the same thing twice. Even though I really loved it and I love the fit of it, I just, like I said, I'm a slower knitter, so it just seems a bit boring to knit the same thing again. On the other hand, the fit, like I said, is perfect. I really love the fit. It has a drop shoulders, which I like. It has split hems, which I like. It does have a turtleneck, which I don't like, but my original, or my previous sweater, I just knit like a regular rib. Kind of like this, or maybe a bit bigger than this rib, but I will try to put in pictures of the original one that I knit. Yeah, so I'm thinking maybe I should just knit that one because I know that I love the fit and I know that I will wear it a lot. Yeah, so that's option 1 for a sweater that I will knit. I did do a gauge swatch, not in particularly okay, I can't talk today. Not particularly for the Wednesday sweater, but I had some yarn that I just wanted to see what gauge I could get out of that yarn. So I have a yarn from Adelainish, which is something that I bought at Edinburgh Yarn Festival in 2019, I think. And that's is it a DK weight? I believe it's a DK weight. There's not really any information on it. It's a cone. It's a yarn cone, I guess you would say. Excuse me. And then I have some silk mohair that I would like to use. So I have been knitting a swatch with that yarn. So the white yarn is the one from Adelainish, which is a very woolen yarn. It smells very woolly and it has some lanolin in there. And then I have the silk mohair, which is my own hand-dyed yarn. And I think this is around 15 stitches per 10 centimeters, which would work for my for a Wednesday sweater, but it would also work for some of the other sweaters that I will talk about in a minute. I don't really know if I like this mold effect or not. I can't really... It's been laying around for a week, I think, this swatch, and I've been looking at it and I'm just not... I don't know. I am thinking, however, I can always knit the sweater and then over dye it if I don't like that mold effect. So I also did swatch with these two, and this one I didn't like, the bluish, it's like a blue with a very gray undertone. And then I have this gray, this is Isa, and this is Sendness Silk Mohair. And this one was definitely the one that blended in the most with the white yarn, but it just, I don't know, it just didn't speak to me, I guess. I didn't really like it, so I just ended up going with the green one. Then I have written, I'm looking over here because I've actually written it down, which is very unlike me, but I just couldn't remember it. So another sweater that I really have been looking at, or I've been following the hashtag this year, is the structured loop sweater by Other Loops, which is a beautiful, again, drop shoulder sweater with in 2 colors. It has kind of like, what would you say, like structured stripes, if that makes sense. So it's knit in stockinette stitch, and then it has stripes in like a contrast color, and the stripes are also knit with like these, I don't even know if it's just pearl bumps, but it has like a slight structure to the stripes, and I just really love it. It's just very, very pretty and simple, but still interesting to look at, and I think very interesting to knit as well. And then, like I said, I am following the hashtag on Instagram, which is something I can really recommend if there's a sweater that you want to knit, or if there's just I often do it if there's a sweater that I like and I think, okay, I think I would like to knit this, but you always are getting bombarded on Instagram with new patterns all the time, and you, at least for me, I can often forget about the original patterns that I liked. They just sort of disappear in all the newness. So following that particular sweater, for example, on Instagram, like the hashtag for a sweater, just keeping it fresh for me at least, and reminding me that, oh yeah, I really like that sweater. So I've been doing that with the structure loop, and I've seen a lot of people knit it, and I feel like it looks good on everyone. I've seen men knit it as well. It looks good on men as well. It's just a very gorgeous sweater. The original pattern is knit in Yunling, in one of their yarns, and I think it's one of the yarns where they have Angora in, like merino Angora blend or something. And I bought some yarn also many years ago from Mønsk Naturgarn, which is an area in Denmark. Or Møn is an area in Denmark. And that's also an Angora merino blend. I'm a little unsure if it's the same yardage per 100 grams, but I can look into that. But I thought that would be perfect to knit that using that yarn, because I'm thinking the drape and things like that would probably be very similar at least to the Yunling, which is what the pattern used. Yeah, so I have 3 skeins of fingering weight yarn in a dark gray, and then I have so that would be the main color, and then I have a sort of orangey, yellowy orangey color, 1 skein of that, and that would be the contrast color. I think originally I bought that yarn because I wanted to make the bouquet sweater by Junko Akamoto, I think maybe her name is, which is a beautiful sweater. I'm just realizing I'm not going to get to knitting that. Yeah, so that's another option that I can knit that, the Other Loop sweater, or the structure loop sweater, using that yarn. Another sweater is the Bowie sweater by Aegyo Knits. I don't know how to pronounce any of the way. It's Korean names. It's a Danish designer, but she uses Korean names. And the Bowie is very simple actually. Just a big oversized sweater with some rib details down the sleeves, and I also think down the side of the sweater. I think it's the top down and the round with some deep holes. What's that called? Deep armholes. I'm gonna go with deep armholes. I hope you know what I'm talking about. It just looks very cozy, big, oversized. I don't know what the gauge is. I think it's more than, I think it's or less than 15. Maybe it's 10 centimeters. I don't know. It looks quite thick. My only thing about that sweater is I still haven't seen any pictures of it where you get to see like the sweater in just the plain form. So I think the pattern pictures, you kind of see the side and you see it tucked in, but I just would like to see it plain. So just on a person standing up without having it tucked into a skirt or something like that. And again, I'm following it on Instagram, so I'm hoping that it's gonna pop up at some point where I can actually just see it plain, or maybe even just hanging on a hanger or something like that. I don't want to knit it yet. Because I want to make sure that I think it's something that will look good on my body, and I don't have enough pictures of it yet to sort of figure that out. I don't know if I'm making sense, but I just want to make sure that it has a fit and a form that I think would be nice for me. Yeah, so that's another option, following the hashtag and hoping that are going to be more people knitting it so I can, you know, just look at it a little bit more. Then I have the pattern for the throwback sweater by Not Perfect Knit. And I bought that last year. And that is a drop shoulders. I think it's a drop shoulder, again, sweater. Yeah, it's a drop shoulder sweater with just all over texture, you know, knits and pearls, basically. Very pretty. Like I said, I have it in my queue and I want to knit it at some point. The only thing is I just don't really know what yarn to use, or I don't have the yarn in my stash, and I would like to use yarn that I already have. I really don't want to go out and purchase a sweater quantity of the yarn. I can't remember what the original pattern used, but it is a yarn that is a bit woolly and sort of has a halo, and I don't want that. I want a yarn that is smooth so that you really get to see the structure or the pattern on the sweater. You get to see it properly. In the queue, I just need to figure out what to do with the yarn, or which yarn to use for it. Then I have the Noe sweater by Apu, which is a Danish knitwear designer, and she makes free patterns, and you can write to her and she will email them to you. I did write to her and send me the pattern, and now it's been too long, so the pattern is gone again. I think I have to write to her again to get the pattern. I think it also is a 15 stitch gauge, and it's again one of those, there's a ton of these sweaters, drop shoulders, split hem, which is something they're just up my alley. I love those types of sweaters, but there are a ton of them. It's the same kind, so it has drop shoulders, it has quite a long split hem. Yeah, just basic, lovely sweaters. So I could definitely knit that sweater with this yarn. So that would be something, or that is something that I'm considering. The last sweater is the Chunky Rib by Knitting for Olive. I have their knitting book, and that's also been in the queue. It was also in the queue last year. It's a raglan with, is it a 3x3 rib? I think it's knit in a 3x3 rib. Like the whole sweater, and it just looks beautiful. It looks very nice on the people that have knit it, and it looks like something I could use in my wardrobe. It's more fitted, obviously, because of the ribbing than all like the other sweaters that I've mentioned, and yeah, I just see it as something that I would use, and that would go with pants and skirts. So yeah, just a nice basic warm cardigan or sweater, not cardigan. Again, I don't know what yarn to use for that one, but I think that would have to be like a really classic yarn, classic color, like a neutral color is what I'm thinking would be nice for that sweater. Even though like a really bright red one would be kind of cool too. Yeah. I'm gonna have something to drink. Yeah, so those are the sweaters that I'm thinking about knitting. I think my two favorite, well not favorite ones, but the two that would make most sense to knit for me right now, both in terms of overall fit, but also in terms of what, like, do I have the yarn for it, would be the Wednesday sweater or the structure sweater, structure loop sweater, or the Noe sweater. Like one of the three would make more sense just because I have everything ready to go for those three sweaters. So I have two. I think I'm gonna decide between those three sweaters. Then I have made I made a list of things that I just called not gonna happen knits, which is knits that I really, really like, but that I also know at this point is not gonna happen because I have other things that I need to knit before that. For example, a nice warm sweater or a cardigan. But I wanted to include them as well because maybe you would get inspired. Miles shirt jacket, which is by Osera. And it's just a gorgeous sweater jacket, basically. It's beautiful. I really like, kind of like, has a bit of a military look to it with a little collar and a pocket, and it's kind of long. And it's just a beautiful sweater. I really would like, or a cardigan jacket thingy. I really hope that at some point I can knit that one. It just is, yeah, kind of cool. It's a cool knit. The other thing that I have on my not gonna happen knit list is the Inga dress by Emperor Knits, which is just a very cool knitted dress knit in a very fluffy yarn. I think it's Sori alpaca maybe. It has quite a deep V, so you're supposed to have something underneath. So deep V front and back, knit in stripes, but you could also knit it in one color. And it hits just below the knee, and it just looks so nice and cozy and warm. And it probably wouldn't take me that long to knit it, but one, I don't really know how much I would wear it. I'm afraid to knit it because even though it looks super cool on the designer, I don't really know if it will look super cool on me. And two, I don't have the yarn. And I was looking at the price for the yarn. It is quite pricey to get that yarn. So yeah, it's not gonna happen right now. The last one is by Augustine's. I can't remember what number. She has numbers in all of her patterns. But it was her Christmas dress, I think. And this dress was just, it's artwork. It's a piece of art. I really feel like it is so pretty and well made. It is beautiful. The only thing is, again, I don't know if I'm gonna wear it, and also too, I haven't really seen anyone knitting it, and I don't know what it looks like on different body types. So for me to knit that one, I would have to see more people wearing it, I think, in order for me to brave knitting that thing. But it is gorgeous, and if I had all the knitting time in the world, I would probably knit it, but I don't, so it's not really gonna happen right now. So yeah, those were the three things that I really, really like, but I also know that right now I'm not gonna knit those. Maybe you are. That would be cool. Then I could see what it looks like on you. Yeah. Then I have just a little thing on the list called cardigans. And I have one thing on there, which is the Debutante jacket by Spektakelstrikk. Which is just a very basic cardigan. I really have a hard time finding cardigans. I'm gonna put in a picture of it so you can see it. It's just a basic cardigan, but there's not really much to say about it. It's cropped, has wider sleeves, I would say. I just don't really, a lot of the cardigans that are available to knit has V-necks. And for some reason I don't like that, or it's not that I don't like it, I don't wear it. I knit the balloon cardigan by Petite Knit and I ended up selling that one because I just didn't wear it. And it could be other things as well, but just that v-neck, I didn't like it. And a lot of the cardigans out there has v-necks, which is, I think, is quite classic for a cardigan, but they just don't speak to me. So I think if I were to knit a cardigan, that would be the Debutante jacket by Spektakelstrikk. I do like wearing cardigans, but I guess the cardigans that I wear are just store-bought, like, cotton cardigans. So maybe I should just stick with the sweater knitting, because I do wear my knitted sweaters quite a lot. And leave the cardigans for, to buy just regular cotton cardigans instead at the store. Okay, so the last thing I want to show you is, not show you, the last thing I want to talk about is summer knits. I have 4 summer knits that I am wanting to knit. I know I'm probably not going to knit all of them, but you know, I have a plan, and we will see how far I get with the plan. So the first one is a top knit by Strikrik, which is a Danish knitwear designer, and she's knit this, or made the pattern for Filcolana, so it's going to be a free pattern, and I think it's going to be in English and other languages as well. It's just a regular rib top with sleeveless, with straps, and it looks pretty. It looks quite pretty on all types of bodies. I have never knitted anything of hers, but I see other people knit it, and she's very good at fitting or making garments that fits a wide range of bodies. Yeah, she just seems very good at that. So I think that one is going to be something that I would like knitting, and that I would find comfortable wearing as well. Then I have the Outline Tee by Jessie May, which I have somewhere in a knitting bag somewhere in this house, that maybe I'm gonna knit another one. I think it's too small, the one that I'm working on right now, but I'll figure that out. It's just a knitted tee. Again, I'll put in a picture. I feel like I'm getting a little talked out, so I'm gonna finish off soon now, I think. Then I have the, what did I write? Moonset Tee by Osera, which is beautiful. A beautiful tee with a v-neck. Generally doesn't speak to me that much, v-necks, but this one is pretty. It has like almost like a, you know those sweaters that you get for newborns that you sort of crisscross? Kind of have the same thing going on at the neck. It has drop shoulders and then just a plain stockinette body. It looks very gorgeous. Yeah, I think I'm almost positive that that's going to be something that I'm going to knit this year. I really like it. And the last one is the Riff Tee by Jacqueline Cieslak. I've seen a ton of people knit this, and it looks good on everyone. So that tells me that it's something that I would like wearing. It is knit bottom up, has again kind of like a drop shoulder construction, I think. The only thing is knit top bottom up, so it's harder to figure out with like length. I like knitting top down, because then you can try it on and you can basically fit the length to whatever you want, and I don't have that much what's that called, experience. I don't have that much experience knitting bottom up, so it's harder for me to sort of gauge as to how long it's gonna be. So that's my only thing with that one. Yeah, that was a lot of talking. I don't even think it's that long, but I feel like I've been talking a lot. So yeah, thank you for watching, and next time I talk to you, I will have cast on a sweater, and we can talk about that sweater at that point. Yeah, thank you for watching, and I will talk to you next month. Bye.